Aloha and welcome to UHMTV, a news production brought to you by the journalism students at UH Manoa School of Communications. I'm Victoria Cuba.
And I'm Giraffe Wallow. Thanks for joining us.
Coming up, a look at how Hawaii lawmakers are creating safe zones for the homeless.
Find out how incentive programs can make renewable energy more affordable.
And we'll talk story with UH System President, Manoa Interim Chancellor, and UH alum David Lassner.
Stay with us for our Spring 2017 episode of UHM TV.
I chose UH Manoa's College of Social Sciences because it inspires me to be bold and unafraid, to stand out, speak up, defend, and question.
It's about being in my element, being engaged, and being part of something great.
At the College of Social Sciences, we empower students to explore their interests, discover what they excel in, and learn how to apply their knowledge outside the classroom. Visit us today and learn more about us, because life is not one-dimensional and your college degree shouldn't be.
One of the state's largest man-made waterways is getting a much-needed cleaning.
Reporter Dylan Ancheta joins us now with the details.
Drew, Vicky, the 2-mile Ala Wai Canal first opened in 1928, and over the years, it's gained a reputation for its filthy conditions. The Ala Wai Canal.
At times, it sort of has a bathroom smell.
Canoe clubs use it to paddle, even though water quality isn't the best.
Paddling in a canoe, great. Paddling in the water, not too great. I wouldn't swim in it.
If you drive by the canal or walk along its banks, you might see some of the pollution that plagues the water. Plastics, a tire, and even an exercise ball all somehow ended up in the canal. Below the water is no better. Sediment has built up over time, increasing the risks for flooding. But considering how popular the canal is for recreational activities, why is pollution in the area so bad? During heavy rain, runoff from mountains and neighborhoods float downstream into the canal, bringing sediment and trash. The canal was built as a runoff and was never intended for recreational use. Therefore, the Board of Water Supply said monitoring water quality there is not a priority for the state.
Okay. That's ridiculous. When I was a little girl, I went in the Ala Wai. It was fine. It was cleaner.
The site is also infamous for sewage spills. In 2006, about 48 million gallons of raw sewage flooded the waters. Since then, some have had negative opinions about the canal.
I wouldn't recommend swimming if you're a paddler. Hopefully you won't get splashed with the water. We even see people fishing there, which I wouldn't recommend eating from there.
Signs warning of health hazards are posted, but they're covered in graffiti. The Department of Land and Natural Resources has allocated $13 million to drain and dredge the canal in an upcoming project. They've also requested an additional $5 million from the state's budget to complete improvements to surrounding sidewalks and bridges. The improvements are good news for watermen who use the canal daily.
We need this Ala Wai for sporting, for training, for water sports. It's essential. We need this Ala Wai to be clean.
Now, 2002 was the last time the canal was cleaned, and this latest dredging project is set to begin in 2018. Dylan Ancheta, UHMTV.
Some of Hawaii's homeless have moved off the streets and into permanent housing.
But there may be a place for them to pitch a tent.
Tents can be found anywhere on the island, from the sidewalks to the beach. And while the state has been trying to find ways to get the homeless out of tents and into housing, some say that this strategy just isn't working.
When we actually displace them from one place to another by force, it complicates things for people who, the agencies who are trying to help them with resources.
That's where Hawaii lawmakers say that safe zones, or temporary residential campgrounds, come into play. This will provide the homeless with wraparound services and give them a temporary place to stay.
So what we're saying is, right now, let's stop the bleeding. Let's have a place where people can pitch a tent and have services, have showers, have place to cook. This is a place where you can come as you are. No membership requirements.
Senator Willis Sparrow suggested having this nearly empty campsite at the back of Staten Island as one of the state's homeless safe zones. But some disagree with the proposal, saying that it goes against the progress they've been making with homelessness. In a testimony, Department of Human Services said that established homeless encampments are, quote, inconsistent with the state's overall strategy to address homelessness. Instead, they push for the state's Housing First program. Goodman, however, disagrees with them.
Not all people are housing ready. They're just comfortable living that lifestyle. They've actually chosen that as a lifestyle.
Regardless of the decision, Dr. Beechner will continue to find ways to provide services for the homeless, hoping that it will help those that are on the streets.
All their energy is going into, staying one step ahead of the people who are clearing them out from where they are, instead of putting their energy into dealing with whatever their issues are.
For UHMTV, I'm Victoria Cuba. Hawaii plans to have 100% clean energy by 2045.
But as Evangeline Cook reports, since incentive programs have been replaced, businesses are feeling the effects.
Hawaii is known for its abundant amount of sunshine, and over the years, that sunshine has generated a rising trend in solar energy, otherwise known as photovoltaic, or PV. Customer incentive programs were created to help boost the initial consumption rate of PV systems, encouraging Hawaii residents to make the switch to renewable energy. One program was the Net Energy Metering, or NEM program, where customers got paid for their leftover energy.
They would get retail credit for what they feed in over and above what they use while the system is producing electricity.
Thousands of PV permits were pulled in Oahu alone after the incentive program was introduced, resulting in a boost throughout the solar industry. But in 2015, things took a turn.
Pretty much overnight in October of 2015, the PUC decided to change the rules of the tariff program that you were talking about, and they got rid of it. And that was kind of a shock to our industries.
Although it's been over a year since the NEM incentive program was replaced, businesses like R&R Solar are starting to feel the delayed effects in recent months.
We don't always feel the changes in the program immediately because there's always a lot of systems approved under the old program. By the time it ends, there's a long queue.
Even though previously approved systems under the old NEM program have been providing work for PV contractors, the queue is beginning to run out.
So it's already like more than 50% slower than it was a year ago or a year and a half ago, and it's even going to slow down more once all those systems have been installed.
Customer incentive programs encourage more people to switch to solar, which is just one element to Hawaii's 100% renewable goal. However, the Public Utilities Commission says these programs aren't always feasible.
But what you had was a situation where all the customers without PV systems on their rooftops were actually subsidizing those customers with systems on their rooftops.
With this goal in mind, incentive programs are necessary to getting customers on track.
In terms of programs like NEM or grid supply, where you're offering rate credits to the customer, I think it's not only important to do so, but I think it's fair to do so. When you talk to people who understand what's involved, whether or not it's possible, invariably the answer I get is it's possible, but the big question is how much are you willing to pay to get there?
For UHMTV, I'm Evangeline Cook.
When we come back, how changes to a small island are causing a big commotion.
And we travel all the way to India to follow one man's journey to a new phase in his life. Stay with us.
Welcome back to UHMTV. The island of Lanai is known for its small town feel.
But new development has residents torn between keeping the country or moving towards the future. Chrissy Tamashiro has more on the story.
a small island community where shaka is thrown as each car passes, no major shopping malls, and not a single stoplight exists. Welcome to the island of Lanai. But change, it's an all too familiar word for local residents. Larry Ellison, the owner of Oracle, bought 97% of the island in 2012 and has a new vision for the community. Ellison assembled a management team for his ideas called Pulama Lanai.
The mission that we have is to try to turn Lanai into a sustainable island community. It's having a community that can be economically viable.
With the changes going on Lanai, local residents say they're mixed with emotions when it comes to preserving their small town feel or going into a new economic future.
Ellison, because of his business and the monies he has, he's attracting a lot of people to the island, different entrepreneurs that want to do business with Larry Ellison or with Pulama. The local people here have to watch out. They can be run over by this.
With the economy changing from the pineapple plantation industry to a hospitality era, Pulama Lanai has to now tailor to tourists as well as local residents. Pulama Lanai has decided to rebrand Ko'ele Lodge, a favorite mountain resort to many locals for more than a decade.
The travelers from the mainland and other countries don't necessarily think of coming to Hawaii and being in a mountain resort. So our thought was to take advantage of the climate and the isolation and develop a wellness retreat there.
For those of us who are born and raised here, we see the changes and it's hard. You just don't own your house on 528 Lanai Avenue. You take pride and ownership in the entire island, and when something goes bad or something changes down at Hulupoi, it affects us.
Although the community will have to adapt to attracting visitors, Pulama Lanai has shown efforts to maintain catering to locals.
We're trying to find the right balance. Through the last 4 years, we've brought back close to 50 plantation homes.
Under new ownership and economic demands, change is inevitable. But the people of Lanai can determine the pace of which they see it.
Change is going to happen. There's no doubt about that. But whether they're going to sit back like the old local styles, just sit back and watch, or are they going to be part of the change, I think that's going to be what can help preserve what we value so much for these last 100 years, on Lanai.
I'm Chrissy Thomas-Sherrill reporting for UHMTV.
While Lanai residents are dealing with new development, one man from Oahu deals with changes of his own.
As Annabelle Lejeune reports, a new project has taken him all the way to India to face his past.
Among the honking, wildlife, and chanting stands one of the holiest places of southern India. At the halfway point of Arunachala Hill, Surya sits in silence.
Mauna, inner silence. We always look for that silence no matter who we are, what we are. We need some joy, happiness, inner silence.
Every year for over 30 years, Surya visits the healing caves of Arunachala. But this year is different. For the first time in 15 years, Surya trekked over 2,500 feet to reach the top.
I leave all my burdens here, all my problems here, and I become one with the mountain, the real truth.
After many years of strenuous artwork, Surya looks to Arunachala to guide him through his life's transitions.
I've seen how he's handling his neurological situation, and it's perfect for him because he can slow down and now he can teach, which is not easy these days.
Surya brings this energy from India back to Hawaii.
His cultural arts village reflects the journey of his past.
Surya first climbed Arunachala after his father was killed in Sri Lanka to religious conflict. Numbed by pain, he traveled cross-country by foot in search of answers.
I was not strong. I needed help. So my family couldn't do it because I was the eldest son. I need to help them. I couldn't help myself. If you cannot help yourself, how can you help others? It's impossible, impossible. I need to find myself. I need to heal myself.
Remembering a time when he learned how to turn his feelings of pain and loss into love and healing, he brings an offering to the top. Surya returns to Hawaii re-energized for his new beginning. For UHMTV, I'm Annabelle Lejeune.
When we come back,
We'll sit down with UH System President and Manoa Interim Chancellor David Lassner.
And find out how slam poetry can be used as an educational tool. Don't go away.
Hawaii is home to one of the best universities in the world, the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Consistently ranked in the top 5% among national and international universities, affordable with resident tuition more than $4,000 below the national average, 200+ degree programs to choose from. Get a world-class education and experience. The University of Hawaii at Manoa.
I chose UH Manoa's College of Social Sciences because it inspires me to be bold and unafraid, to stand out, speak up, defend, and question.
It's about being in my element, being engaged, and being part of something great.
At the College of Social Sciences, we empower students to explore their interests, discover what they excel in, and learn how to apply their knowledge outside the classroom. Visit us today and learn more about us, because life is not one-dimensional and your college degree shouldn't be.
Welcome back to UHMTV. Recently, we had the opportunity to interview UH System President and Manoa Interim Chancellor David Lassner, who also happens to be a proud UH alum.
Our very own Bianca Smallwood had a chance to speak with him in this exclusive interview.
Aloha and welcome back to UHMTV. We're pleased to welcome the University of Hawaii System President and UH Manoa Interim Chancellor David Lassner to our studios. Thank you for joining us here at the School of Communications, President Lassner.
My pleasure to be here.
You worked at the university now for 40 years. That's a really long time to be working at one place. Can you share with us your experiences and how a tech guy can rise to the ranks of becoming UH president?
Sure. So I came here in 1977. I was a graduate student in computer science at the University of Illinois, and I got invited to help UH with a specific project around computers and teaching. In 1977, it was supposed to be a one-year half-time contract, and then I was going to go back and finish a PhD at Illinois, and somehow I just never made it back.
What was your time like here at UH as a student?
Well, so after I had been here, I guess about 9 years, I joined a brand new interdisciplinary PhD program. In fact, sponsored in part by the Department of Communications at the time.
What do you like to do in your free time, President Lassner?
Well, probably the most fun thing I've gotten to do over the past year or so is I spent 3 weeks as a crew member with the Hokulea, traveling from Washington, D.C. to New York City, and including some stops at both ends and in the middle. It was an amazing experience, and it really helped me understand, I think, one of the most important things that we do here in Hawaii and that we have shared over these past 3 years for the Malama Honua voyage. We've shared with the world something very, very special that I think will change. It certainly has changed me, and I think it'll change many people in Hawaii and across the globe.
Many of us here are actually graduating this semester. Do you have any words of wisdom for our journalism seniors before they head out and start their careers?
You know, it's interesting. In this role, I certainly meet a lot more of the local journalists than I used to. As I'm on TV, asked questions by the media, print media as well, and even radio. I'd say I hope the skills that you have learned here serve you well in communicating effectively with the people of Hawaii. I think you know you have gone into a tough profession that's changing. I'm a technologist, and I was one of the people who helped bring the internet and spread it throughout the University of Hawaii and the state of Hawaii over many years. And it changes almost everything. But I hope that what you have learned here is how to help people understand the realities, to share facts in an objective manner so that people in society can come to different conclusions, but always grounded in fact.
Thank you, President Lassner, for your words of wisdom, and thank you for joining us here on UHMTV.
When we come back, learn about a new initiative that is cutting the cost of preschool tuition.
And how a music workshop is inspiring kids through hip-hop and slam poetry. Don't go away.
I chose UH Manoa's College of Social Sciences because it inspires me to be bold and unafraid, to stand out, speak up, defend, and question.
It's about being in my element, being engaged, and being part of something great.
At the College of Social Sciences, we empower students to explore their interests, discover what they excel in, and learn how to apply their knowledge outside the classroom. Visit us today and learn more about us, because life is not one-dimensional and your college degree shouldn't be.
Welcome back to UHMTV. The price for preschool has caused some keiki to miss out on early education.
And for parents who are facing economic challenges, there may be a solution. Kristen Wong explains.
It has been an issue in Hawaii that young children are missing out on early childhood education because of the high tuition costs.
I think it's ranging around $800 to $1,000 a month for full-day preschool. And so that's a huge burden on working families, you know, who are, especially they're just starting off sometimes in their careers. So there's a variety of subsidy programs and scholarships that are out there in our community, but not enough.
So as an effort to better prepare these children, the Executive Office on Early Learning is accepting applications for free pre-kindergarten classes. Laura Moriguchi, the director of the Executive Office on Early Learning, says that all students should be afforded the opportunity to receive high-quality early childhood services to provide them with the skills which will enable them to be successful in both school and life. She also followed up with, "I highly encourage families to take advantage of this opportunity."
We know that by the time a child is 5 years old, about 85% of their brain is already developed. And the connections are really happens when you're interacting with the child and they're engaged with, you know, meaningful and fun activities. So the more they're doing that, you know, their brain's really forming.
Locke also said that only 40 to 45% of our preschool-age children in Hawaii actually attend preschool. Those who don't tend to fall behind once they enter kindergarten.
You could see that children who'd attended preschool were more comfortable playing and collaborating with other children. That was one piece. But I do feel like putting our funds into supporting the youngest children is going to pay off in the long run.
Free pre-kindergarten classes on Kauai, Maui, Molokai, Lanai, Hawaii Island, and here on Oahu will be offered for the upcoming 2017-2018 school year. These schools were identified as being the areas with the greatest needs. I'm Kristen Wong reporting for UHMTV.
Music is known to move the body.
But as Gabriel Estevez reports, it can also be used to inspire others.
An interactive music education outlet called Sound Shop has rung the walls of the Honolulu Museum of Art with sounds of hip-hop and poetry. The Supergroupers, a local hip-hop collective, helps relay their talents to inspire high school students around the island.
You're speaking a language that they can understand, and you're not separating yourself from them. I mean, in terms of skill, you are, but the way that we present these workshops, we make it seem real easy. It's like, as long as you're comfortable and you're confident and there's no reason not to be, then you can do exactly what we're doing, you know? So we open this window or this door.
Sound Shop was started to help high school students with opportunities to gain knowledge through creative processes such as music writing and producing.
Just having an outlet to express yourself and realizing that you have something to express about yourself and being able to discover what that is, you know, learn more about yourself as a person can definitely help you as a student.
Sound Shop is held 4 times out of the year for 3 hours at a time here at the Honolulu Museum of Art.
You connect with kids on a level that's creative, that's not constrained, and you're asking them to open up and you're doing it for them. You know, you're setting that example. You can get kids to come out of their shell, you know, and that's like really inspiring, and that's kind of the motivation.
It instills a sort of confidence in them. It reminds them that anything that they truly put themselves to and apply themselves to, they can do, you know.
Their goal is to use music education as a vessel for inspiration to do well both inside and outside of the classroom. For more information, please visit honolulumuseum.org. For UHMTV, this is Gabriel Estevez.
We hope you enjoyed our show. Thanks so much for watching.
And we just want to say congratulations to the class of 2017. Until next time, from all of us here at UHMTV, aloha and a hui ho.